What if artificial intelligence doesn't just take your job, but rewrites the global economy itself? In rich countries, AI feels like a tool. In developing nations, it feels like an earthquake, and the aftershocks are already here. For decades, outsourcing was the path to prosperity. Nations like the Philippines and Bangladesh built entire industries around service jobs, call centers, data entry, transcription, tech support, work that was once considered safe from automation because it required language, context, and that subtle human touch. But now, machines have learned that touch. Large language models can handle these tasks in seconds, at a fraction of the cost, and that puts millions of workers on the front line of disruption. In the Philippines, the IMF estimates that nearly 89% of outsourced service jobs are at risk of being automated. That's over 1 million people whose livelihoods could vanish almost overnight. This is a $37 billion industry, employing 1.3 million workers and contributing 7% of national GDP. And it's staring straight into an AI cliff. Bangladesh is in a similar boat. Its outsourcing sector has grown to more than 400 firms, employing 80,000 people. But most of that work is customer service, transcription, and data entry. Exactly the kind of jobs AI can now do faster, cheaper, and without a paycheck. A single slot in a server rack could soon replace an entire call center in Manila or Dhaka. And if that happens, the entire model of outsourcing collapses. Meanwhile, wealthy nations are seeing a very different picture. The US, the UK, Germany, and South Korea are all projecting AI-driven GDP boosts of over 5% in the next decade. For lower-income nations, the gains look closer to 2.7 to 3.5%. That's a dramatic reversal of recent history. For decades, developing nations were catching up, slowly narrowing the gap. Now that gap is set to widen again. Globally, PwC estimates that AI could add $15.7 trillion to the world economy by 2030. But here's the catch. 70% of that wealth is projected to go to just 2 countries, the United States and China, because they own the infrastructure, the patents, and the capital. But this divide isn't just between nations, it's also within them. Economists describe 2 kinds of capital: complementary capital, technology that makes workers more productive, and substitutive capital, technology that replaces them. For doctors and analysts, AI is complementary. It helps them do their jobs faster and makes their expertise more valuable. But for cashiers, bank tellers, postal staff, and customer service reps, AI is substitutive. It doesn't assist. It replaces. The US Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates that 7.1 million jobs could disappear in the next 5 years. Some studies suggest up to 47% of all current roles could eventually be replaced by AI. And the companies funding this revolution? They've poured trillions of dollars into AI development. Now they're looking for returns. Cutting millions of workers off payroll is the fastest way to get them. We've seen this movie before. When automation hit US manufacturing in the 1980s and 1990s, more than 7 million factory jobs disappeared. Most never came back. In the Midwest, cities like Detroit, Cleveland, and Youngstown collapsed into unemployment and addiction. In the UK, coal mining and shipbuilding towns were left decades behind in income and mobility. Once inequality takes root in an economy, it becomes extremely difficult to reverse. And that's the warning sign today. But here's the good news. We already see what's coming, and that means we can prepare. Countries on the front lines, like the Philippines and Bangladesh, are experimenting. The Philippines has launched a national AI strategy, aiming to retrain 1 million workers by 2028. Bangladesh has released a draft framework to modernize education, support startups, and upskill workers for AI-enabled services. Will it be enough? Nobody knows, but it's a playbook others can learn from. So what should nations actually do? 2 things. Invest heavily in AI infrastructure and invest just as heavily in their people. That means education in computer science, Yes, but also the human skills. AI struggles to copy critical thinking, complex problem solving, effective communication, creative decision making. A study of 12 million US job postings found that AI adoption tends to increase demand for these human skills far more often than it eliminates jobs outright. And there's another piece: connectivity. Nearly 2.6 billion people worldwide still don't have internet access. Without that, they can't compete at all. The World Bank estimates that every 10% increase in broadband access can boost GDP in developing countries by 1.4%. That's before adding in AI benefits. Social safety nets matter too. If workers lose income while companies pocket productivity gains, the economy hollows out, consumption falls, innovation continues, but inequality drags everything down. If we want AI to boost prosperity broadly, not just profits for the few, we'll need to rethink how value is shared. That means asking hard questions. Who gets to build AI? Who governs it? And who benefits from the wealth it creates? So what happens if AI keeps improving and most people are left with nothing of value to trade? That's the future we need to prepare for, because AI is already reshaping the global economy. The only question is whether it becomes a machine for inequality or the greatest tool for shared prosperity in history. Subscribe to Tomorrow Explained for more stories of the future we're racing toward.